Hello and welcome to this next podcast. It's Tyrone here, your host from tyroneshum.com. Today I've got a special guest on board here. His name's West Loh, and West and I actually go back quite some time now, and we met through one of Yaro's Storak's mastermind groups and also through his blog as well. And since then we've built a relationship together and shared a lot of podcasts together and got a lot of great content to share with you today. So getting straight into it, I wanted to speak to you today and also share with West as well in the podcast is a particular topic that we're very passionate about, and something that I think can also benefit and help you. And the topic that we're going to talk about is automating traffic generation. And that's the topic that we're going to be talking about today. So I want to welcome West onto the call. So West.
Welcome, Tyrone. Thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you. West, we were just chatting previously and wanting to share with our audience as well what we do and how we can gain a lot of traffic and also automate this, because a lot of people go out there and spend a lot of time trying to get traffic, but the thing is getting into the system and having it automated so it brings you leads and leads of traffic on a daily basis and a weekly basis without you having to put too much more work in from the get-go. So I've been finding that in my business lately, I've been using a lot of video marketing, and video marketing seems to be bringing a lot of traffic because it seems like a lot of people now are just using videos to promote themselves, talk about, share things. And when you get those kind of people clicking onto your videos and looking at your content, they seem to want to be able to find out more and go straight to your blog or wherever your website is.
Yeah, it's almost like the new search engine, isn't it, Tyrone? I mean, it's a great lead generator and a great traffic generator. And I think if it's done correctly, through some of the tips we'll probably share on the podcast today, you'll be able to get it done effectively and also automate it. So Tyrone is well known for his philosophies on outsourcing. I'm a big fan of automation and using software and any tools I can get my hands on to free up my own time. And that's kind of what the fusion of today's call is. So we're going to be just bouncing ideas off each other. And, we hope you guys don't mind a bit of backwards and forwards.
Absolutely. So really the key to this call is just to be able to give you some tips and some really good content so that you can go out and apply for yourself as well. And stuff that's been working in our own business, because we find that but just by sharing from our experiences, people are able to benefit from this greatly. And if it's working for us, I'm pretty sure it should work for you. Just simply implement it. And what I found lately is I've been putting snippets of small 5-minute clips onto YouTube. Excuse me. And what I found is with YouTube, you've just got to be smart about how you post it and how to generate traffic from YouTube. And recently, I've actually also been doing a lot of affiliate promotions as well too. And through those affiliate promotions, I've been getting a lot of traffic directly through to my site via the videos.
Tell us real quick, Tyrone, because you were saying before we started the call was that you had a hit of 10,000 hits in one spurt from doing a video.
Yep. I was recently promoting the Guru Blueprint, which was a very successful campaign launched by Eben Pagan. And I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll create a little video and show people how they can outsource a Guru Blueprint, because people were interested in probably buying that. But I know that 9 out of 10 people would probably buy it, but probably put it on the shelf and not do anything with it, which is unfortunate, because it really, they're paying $2,000 for content like that. That's really good content, but they're not going to action it. So I thought, all right, how can we get people to take action on implementing a program like that? That's so powerful and that's really beneficial and profitable for them. So I thought, why don't you find people to outsource for you, or outsource it to someone else overseas who will be happy to implement and treat it as work for them. So I went through a little quick demo and I said, look, this is what you get inside a Guru Blueprint, and this is what you could actually copy and send over to your virtual assistants, or get them to access the website and then let them implement it and learn how to use the system themselves. And once they've done that, they can start making money for you. So that's what I did in there, and that post itself on video did close to about 10,000 plus hits. So I was astounded.
Wow.
And a combination of all the other videos that I did as well added it up to yeah, quite a substantial amount of hits through. And the way I knew that was because through my WordPress blog, I was tracking all of that as well. And I thought, imagine if I actually turned this traffic, instead of going straight to Eben Pagan's Guru Blueprint website, I could actually turn it into a lead page for myself and
Mm.
get more subscribers. So
So
if you,
it kind of took you by surprise
yeah, it
how well
did.
it did.
Absolutely did. And I was just thinking, okay, if something like this, promoting a large affiliate program like that could generate that much traffic and that much interest, then you can imagine what you could do with other affiliate programs that are that large. And one thing I learned from something like this is possibly to participate in large programs or large launches, which can generate and help you get a lot of traffic. And by doing that, you can turn those into lead pages, and those lead pages you can easily use to capture new subscribers and grow your database. Because what we've learned is not only is it important to get traffic to your website, but also to build your list of subscribers, which in turn will be your gold mine, and your list of subscribers will be your followers and your fans, who ultimately will eventually look at buying stuff through you. And if they do buy things through you, that's how we all make money. So that's
Mm.
something that I've learned just from video marketing. And that's just one little thing that I've done. There's also other components which I'll share actually right now with you, that I will probably want to give you 3 tips to get really optimized and effective YouTube videos out there. The first thing I want to just share with you as well is the YouTube title has to be something that's going to capture a reader's attention. And what I found is, if you want to get the right search terms on YouTube and also on Google for it to be ranked up high, make sure that you do pick the right key terms. In this circumstance, I did Guru Blueprint Review and how to outsource. And a lot of people, I think, were searching on Google for Guru Blueprint Review, and that's the reason why I think this particular post came up.
So can I just clarify something, Tyrone? This video you did, it wasn't like you did shot the video and then drove tons of traffic to it yourself.
No.
You put it on YouTube, you optimized it with keywords,
Yep.
and people just found you.
Yep.
That's correct?
That's
Cool.
right.
Cool.
So
Yep. Just wanted
yeah,
to establish that,
absolutely. So
because some people have big lists already, and they drive traffic to their videos, and shoot up their video counts and that sort of stuff. But that's not what you did.
no, well, I don't have a very big list, and I mean, not like those guys who have huge lists. But I basically just did a good video and just posted up, and I think the subscribers from my YouTube channel viewed it, and then from there probably just spread it out word of mouth and just got out there. So I didn't do much work at all from there, and I didn't send any traffic from my personal list that I usually have to
Yep.
even click on that. So yeah,
Beautiful.
that was interesting. The other thing as well too is with your description, I think a lot of people miss out putting on their website or URL link in there. And the
Definitely.
most crucial point is, when you're creating a new video on YouTube or any video site out there, make sure you put in, for the first part of it, your URL link. And that URL link can be your blog, your website, or even just a shortened URL towards the affiliate link.
And I believe it's got to have the HTTP, ://. So if you just put in www, it ain't gonna work.
It ain't going to work. So yeah, exactly right. That's what Wes has said. And then the other thing as well is optimize your description as well with a really good content post, and you can put in as much as you want in there. I know that a lot of sites out there restrict you to 250 characters, but in this circumstance, when you're dealing with YouTube, the more content, the better. And what they find is that they'll optimize those words or that content onto Google as well too. And that's how you can rank up much higher too. And lastly, I wanted to talk to you about keywords as well. Keywords is crucial. I think I put in at most, it was 8 keywords that I put in there. The important keywords that people would search on, like Guru Blueprint Review, Guru Blueprint Mastermind, etc., etc. So you want to make sure you put in the good keywords and tags into that video. And that's all I did. That's not much more that I can say to be able to generate and optimize that much video views and so forth through there. But there was just a lot of clicks coming through to that particular link, and imagining having that many clicks come through, you can turn that into potential list of subscribers or leads to your blog.